The highest good is not to seek to do good, but to allow yourself to become it. The ordinary person seeks to do good things and finds that they cannot do them continually. The master does not force virtue on others, thus she is able to accomplish her task. The ordinary person who uses force will find that they accomplish nothing. The kind person acts from the heart and accomplishes a multitude of things. The righteous person acts out of pity, yet leaves many things undone. The moral person will act out of duty, and when no one will respond, will roll up his sleeves and use force. When the Tao is forgotten, there is righteousness. When righteousness is forgotten, there is morality. When morality is forgotten, there is the law. The law is the husk of faith, and trust is the beginning of chaos. Our basic understandings are not from the Tao, because they come from the depths of our misunderstanding. The master abides in the fruit and not in the husk. She dwells in the Tao, and not with the things that hide it. This is how she increases in wisdom. Okay, so this chapter, as you may have noticed, is a little bit longer, and it is just packed with things to consider. Because of this, I've decided to split the discussion of this chapter into two parts. For today's part, I want to talk a little bit about the first few lines. The highest good is not to seek to do good, but to allow yourself to become it. The ordinary person seeks to do good things, and finds that they cannot do them continually. There are many different reasons for trying to be a good person. Often we act rightly out of a motivation to please or impress others, to preserve our belonging in a group or family unit, or even just to not be in trouble. We also sometimes strive to act rightly out of a need to feel like we're a good person. Now, before we get too judgmental and start pointing fingers here, let's keep in mind that pretty much everyone has tried to act rightly out of one or more of these motivations in their lifetime. Most of us oscillate between several or all of them on a daily basis. This isn't a time for calling out others. It's a time for recognizing in ourselves the basic motivations that guide pretty much all of humanity. And that's fine. I think we can probably say that it's better, for example, not to kill somebody than to kill them, even if you abstain simply out of self-preservation or adherence to social expectations. We're going to talk more about the hierarchy of motivations in the part 2 video, but for now, let's just say that although it may often be better to act rightly for the wrong reasons than to act wrongly, this may not always be the case. For example, most cultures consider it wrong to lie. However, there could potentially be a situation where you could be forced to lie in order to save somebody's life. Hard, fast rules about what is right or wrong are good to have if we do not have the benefit of Tao and intuition, but they are not an adequate substitute for it. The other problem with doing the right thing for the wrong reasons is that wrong reasons will never give us the juice to continue doing good indefinitely. We may temporarily be able to rise to the level of our ambitions, but we will always, inevitably, fall back to the level of our character. Good intentions simply are not enough to cause a person to always do good things. Suboptimal motivations will eventually run out of steam. So what is the solution to this problem? The solution is to embrace and follow Tao. But when I say follow Tao, I do not mean simply start studying Taoism. Taoism is not the Tao, as we learned in chapter 1. The Tao is the Tao. All the teachings in Taoism are nothing more than guidelines for finding harmony with Tao. Anybody can seek the higher order of the universe by putting aside their desires and responding to intuition, not just Taoists. If we get the idea that being a Taoist is the same thing as following the Tao, we leave ourselves critically vulnerable to spiritual pride. The natural human tendency under this assumption is to begin looking around and thinking to the self how different we Taoists really are from everyone else. We make Taoism a clique, a club, an exclusive faction of exceptional individuals who, unlike everyone else, are able to feel, think, and understand. In short, we start to think that Taoists are special, simply because they are Taoists. Many people are attracted to Taoism because of its apparent differences with organized religions, such as Christianity. If that describes you, however, know that this sort of spiritual smugness I've been talking about may be the very same vice you saw in others, which made their religion seem so unattractive to you. The reality of the situation is that while pretty much any religion can better a person, people are still people, no matter what religion or philosophy they adhere to. There are good apples and bad bananas in every bunch. But also, there are just a whole lot of medium melons, people whose hearts are in the right place, who are trying to live up to the standards of their respective faith, but still make plenty of mistakes. That's me, and to be honest, that's probably you too. In actuality, any person in the world can follow the Tao, be they of whatever religion they may. A Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist may be following the Tao just as well or better than a Taoist might. Taoism is just a collection of advice for doing what all major religions seek to do, to come into harmony with all things and with the higher power of the universe, whatever they happen to call it. It's just that Taoism packages this advice a little differently. Taoism is not a ticket for being one with the Tao. It's an instruction manual that anyone can follow. The overarching lesson of Taoism is to put aside your desires, seek harmony with the higher order of the universe, and be flexible and open to being guided by Tao, which is to say, being guided by intuition. Doing this will enable us not only to do good, but to truly be good. As we walk down this road, every step we take closer to Tao changes us for the better. Then, we will be able to truly be instead of only do. Taoism will show us how to do good without forcing. It's kind of like the difference between a ditch and a river. A ditch cuts directly through the land to bring water to some desired location for some purpose that may or may not actually benefit mankind in the long run. Rather than doing good in this way, we want to become like rivers, flowing naturally with the land, following the path laid for us by Tao, and nourishing everything we pass by, simply because of what we are. I'm really trying to describe the difference between these two in a way that isn't too ethereal and that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if it's helping, or if you guys have any questions. Additionally, if you'd like to talk about Taoism, or just have more questions than can be answered in the comments, I'd love if you considered joining our Discord, where we talk about this stuff every day and have chapter-specific discussions about the Tao Te Ching that everyone is welcome to participate in. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for part 2 of chapter 38. Peace and blessings.